Hello everyone, I'm Nate and welcome to the channel. Today we are in the woods. Yeah, sorry if I'm trying to backlight myself here, so if I'm getting a halo here effect here, well, it is what it is. Yeah, I dropped my son off for some indoor soccer practice and there's these great woods back here. I thought it'd be a nice secluded, quiet area to film. We are going to be doing a review here today of the newest Alebrije, which is, you like how I rolled my R's there? I am not a Spanish speaker, sorry. Yeah, anyways, we're going to be doing a review of this yo-yo. This is the newest addition to the Zero Gravity Return Tops catalog, and yeah, we'll get into this. They are one of our fantastic sponsors for Fix Axle February. If you have not participated in that, I would encourage you to check that out. I have a bunch of videos already out about that and the rules and all that. That is over also on the Yo-Yo Expert Forum. And yeah, so they sent me this yo-yo a while back. I wanted to save it for this month and to kind of hype up the contest that's going on, because this is a yo-yo that can be situated as a fixed axle yo-yo. It could also be a responsive yo-yo with a standard slimline bearing as well, but we'll get into the details of that. I also wanted to give a little quick shout out to myself, I have a store, if you don't know this, Nerd Dad EDC, so sort of a little side hustle, but I have two currently in stock, both of these Ranger eyes here. So if you've seen my videos on that, if you are a Ranger eye collector, or you have a pouch that has some Velcro on it, or anything that has any Velcro on it, or you want to get something that has some Velcro on it, and you want to help support me, this is the best way to do that. So this is my newest one, so for you skill toy aficionados, right, whatever skill toy you play with, you're going to want this one, right? And if you're in your 30s like myself, this one's for you. So I play with skill toys, and then Ninja Turtle logo there, and then this is the carry, as an everyday carry. There's also another one on the other side, so it's white, so it's inverted colors here, but it's in the Marvel font, so marvelous carry. So those are both available right now. Nerd Dad EDC, you'll see a link in the description here as well. So let's get to the Alebrije here. I think it's like a whopping 30 degrees here at the highest today, and it's a little windy, so it feels like colder than that. A wooden yo-yo during Fix Axle February, when you're trying to shoot the moon, for instance, and you don't have tall enough ceilings, a wooden yo-yo is going to be nice, and so that's what we have here. All right, so let's talk about the construction of this and what options we have here. This one comes in walnut. It also comes in a white oak as well, so those are the two wood options. And then there's also different color anodized aluminum sort of hubs here, or caps, or I don't know. I think they do come out. I haven't managed to like pop them out, but I've seen pictures of them popped out. I haven't messed around with that much. And like I said, it does have the bearing blank. So I reviewed the Miho, right, a while back, and that's the first time they kind of issued out it's a D-bearing sized bearing blank. So it's just a piece of metal, but it is concaved, and so it's great. I've actually used it also in the Respawn, all right, which is really nice too, to make it completely fixed axle. The cool thing about this too is it's modular in the sense that you can switch out, you can switch out the response area to make it either D-bearing or C-bearing, right? And it comes with both of those options. And so let me go ahead and take this apart and show you here of some of the construction of what you can do. All right, so let me take the string out here and I will show you in person. So yeah, pop it open here, okay? And right now I have the blank in here, right? I've been honestly, this is kind of how I've set it up. I like the D-bearing option in there as well, and I like the C-bearing, and I've messed around with it for a little while, but honestly, and maybe because it is Fix Axle February, I've been really playing it with just the blank here, and I've been really liking it as a fixed axle option. It's just nice. I also like the profile of this yo-yo quite a bit for fixed axle. We'll get to that in a minute. It's a fairly long axle too. Now it does come with like 3 bearing options, but they're both slimline, right? So it has the blank, right? That's not a bearing. And then it comes with a D bearing and a C bearing, but both of those are like the half spec. So it's meant to be responsive. I haven't tried it with this to actually put a like full spec C bearing or full spec D bearing in there. You could. I don't see why not. And the axle seems to be long enough that you could do that. Now, actually, to get these out, and I don't know if there might be a better way, but I've actually kind of just popped open with the axle here, and they just come out, right? And around there, you have a rubber washer here, a gasket, what have you, whatever you want to call it. So to make sure it's nice and tight in there, it's not flying out. And also that's going to decrease in vibe. I've not really noticed too much vibe with this, considering, you know, there's a lot of things going on. It's wood, first off, which can be unpredictable sometimes, right? So the quality of wood has to be good without a lot of knots and that kind of stuff. It has to be well balanced, which is a challenge sometimes. But also it's, you know, metal in the response as well. So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot going on with it. And I've really not noticed really any vibe. Like, that's like noticeable at all. Like, it's just your typical fixed axle wooden vibe, right? Just a little bit of pulse, but nothing that's like distracting, right? So it's really smooth. It's really smooth for what it is. Like I said, I have the blank in here right now. I really like that a lot for this fixed axle play. I really want to showcase what it does as a fixed axle yo-yo, right? And so that's how I'm going to play it for this review. Now, just for like full, you know, transparency here, I did put a little bit of wax on this string. This is actually my Prestige string. So since it's not a wood axle, I have no problem using something that's not cotton, right? Yeah, it works really well. And the response pads have broken in enough that, because I've had it for a couple weeks here and I've played it enough that they're not as grabby as they might have been whenever I first took it out of the box. Let's talk about the profile of this really quick. It is more of a slim line, but I like the full sizeness of that. So it's going to be really nice and pocket friendly, like in a jean or whatever. Or honestly, you could probably put this in a pouch. There's not a lot of yo-yos out there that like are going to be pouch worthy because they're just too bulky, right? This would be a viable option for a pouch carry yo-yo because it's slim enough. Now, I would say the only maybe downfall of a more narrow sort of yo-yo like this is it's probably not going to be great for like back of the hand stalls because it's just not quite wide enough to like hit that consistent. Now, that's not impossible. It's certainly a challenge that you could do, right? But this is going to be just a fun profile, I think, for a lot of you who like fixed axle play. I prefer, honestly, a lot of times a more narrow one because it is that pocket friendly, you know, sort of feel, right? For things like kick flips, and I am surprised I picked that up because it just like blew in wind there while I was trying to do that. But for things like kick flips and all that, like where you're wanting to make sure that the loop stays in there, that higher wall actually is really beneficial. And so I really, really like that sort of higher wall feel. One of the keys to fixed axle play, and I think a lot of people are getting that who are brand new to fixed axle yo-yo, is that response is kind of everything, right? And sometimes dialing in a response can be a challenge. And so that's why I went ahead, just for the sake of this review, didn't have time to really kind of wear in a string and break it in. So I went ahead and just kind of shortcut it and put some just wax on there. So if you have some chapstick or just whatever, that's what I used. So it's a little minty fresh there. And so that works. Just put a little bit on the end there as you kind of wrap that around the axle, and that'll kind of break in the string. Now you could just also break in the string. A lot of times that's what I do as well. I didn't have time for that for this review, so I wanted to make sure that the response was good. For instance, one of the tricks that I test this with is making the zines, right? If like there's not enough, you know, response there as I'm kicking it back out, sometimes it'll slip. If it's a maybe not broken in string or whatever. I found that on this, with this string, again, string's gonna matter, right? So like I'm using, you know, a nylon blended string, so that might have added some slickness to it as well. So again, finding that right response, it's just gonna take some practice, right? So I found it on this one, and I really like that. Check out the Alebrije. Again, they're a fantastic sponsor for this Fixed Axle February, so if you've not gotten involved in that, you should, because this is going to be actually one of the draw prizes. And so, again, if you don't know anything I'm talking about, I'm not going to go over it right now, but definitely check out the details on a previous video. I'll have a link in the description to all of that, to the rules and so on. But all right, in the meantime, I'm going to continue playing this out here because it's just a lot of fun. All right, until the next one, later.